Hey everyone, this is Jericho Tazk here, back up again with another video here. As you saw last time, the New Orleans Pelicans defeated the New York Knicks in the 2021 NBA Finals with the MVP, DeMarcus Cousins. And this time, we're going to pick up right where we left off, see what happens right after that. Give it a minute, and it'll show up. After the season, Carmelo Anthony retires, so is Chris Bosh, LeBron James, Dwight Howard, J.R. Smith. You see some greats retire after this season. So a lot of them actually, something I've noticed is that a lot of guys tend to retire with different teams than they are most known for. Except LeBron, he does end his career with the Cavs. Pretty much everyone else ends their career with someone else, which I found kind of odd. But that's what happened. Rudy Gay retires there. You see J.J. Redick, he retired. Joakim Noah with the Mavericks. There's some odd places for some guys to retire. Roy Hibbert retires. And Hall of Fame inductees this year, there's 4 of them. LeBron James, Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony, and Chris Bosh. 4 great players of our time and well-deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. See, that expansion teams got rejected. It won't happen. Although it's 17-13, we are getting somewhere, but didn't happen. As you can see, the league has one expansion, as I do. The Los Angeles Clippers have moved to the Atlantic Division because they've become the Montreal Nationals, which has moved the Utah Jazz from the Northwest into the Pacific Division, moved the Milwaukee Bucks from the Central Division into the Northwest. The Louisville Heat have moved from the Southeast to the Central, and the Washington Wizards have moved back from the Atlantic into the Southeast Division. The draft lottery was held for the 2021 draft, where the Tampa Bay Nighthawks earned the number 1 pick, followed by the Toronto Raptors and the Dallas Mavericks. You can see the rest of the draft order there, pending more trades, which I'm sure will happen. In the draft was held, the Nighthawks selected Lionel Macklin with the number 1 pick. Number 2 pick, the Toronto Raptors selected Sean Forbes. The Tampa Bay Nighthawks traded for number 3 pick and selected Darren Harris. The Montreal Nationals selected 4th, the former Los Angeles Clippers, and selected Zach Irvin. The 5th pick went to the Memphis Grizzlies, who then went on to select shooting guard Chad Brock. The Philadelphia 76ers selected Akeem Jankovic, point guard, with the 6th pick. The 7th pick went to the Phoenix Suns for Clark Terrell, and they also picked again at 8th for Vince Hart. And the big offseason here, C.J. McCollum is now with the Dallas Mavericks to join Lionel Macklin and LaMelo Ball. The MVP this year was Russell Westbrook, once again. Rookie of the Year, Lionel Macklin, who ended up with the Dallas Mavericks. That was part of the trade that went to the Mavericks, the number 1 selection, as the Tampa Bay Nighthawks got the 3rd pick. De'Aaron Fox is the 6th Man of the Year of the Sacramento Kings. Nick Johnson wins Defensive Player of the Year from the Detroit Pistons. The Louisville Heat's Tony Bradley wins Most Improved Player, and Coach of the Year is Sam Mitchell from the Portland Trail Blazers. Now as the playoffs start, the Portland Trail Blazers are in the 1 seed and taking the 8-seeded Houston Rockets. Minnesota Timberwolves are the 4 seed, take on the 5-seeded San Antonio Spurs. The 3-seeded Oklahoma City Thunder take on the 6-seeded Utah Jazz, while the 2-seeded Milwaukee Bucks take on the 7-seeded Golden State Warriors. On the eastern side of the playoffs, the Detroit Pistons 1 seed take on the 8-seeded Montreal Nationals. 4-seeded Chicago Bulls take on the 5-seeded Atlanta Lakers. The 3-seeded Indiana Pacers take on the 6-seeded Boston Celtics, and the 2-seeded Washington Wizards take on the 7-seeded Tampa Bay Nighthawks. Now let's simulate the next round to see what happens, as the Portland Trail Blazers defeated the Houston Rockets to face the San Antonio Spurs, who upset the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Milwaukee Bucks defeated the Golden State Warriors, and the Oklahoma City Thunder defeated the Utah Jazz in 7 games. On the eastern side, the Detroit Pistons swept the Montreal Nationals, and the Chicago Bulls defeated the Atlanta Lakers. The Indiana Pistons defeated the Boston Celtics, and the Tampa Bay Nighthawks upset the Washington Wizards in 7 games to move on. Now let's go ahead and simulate these games to see who goes to the Western Conference Finals and the Eastern Conference Finals. The top 4 teams in the NBA for the 2022 playoffs. Western Conference Finals is the Oklahoma City Thunder, who defeated the Milwaukee Bucks, and the San Antonio Spurs, who upset the one-seeded Portland Trail Blazers. The Eastern Conference Finals is the Indiana Pacers, who defeated the Tampa Bay Nighthawks in 7 games, and the Chicago Bulls, who upset the Detroit Pistons with a sweep. Now let's simulate to see who plays in the finals in 2022. It'll be the San Antonio Spurs, the 5 seed, who upset Oklahoma City Thunder, and the 4-seeded Chicago Bulls, who upset the Indiana Pistons. And your champions, after 6 games, are the Chicago Bulls on the back of their MVP, Jimmy Butler, who actually just got traded last night to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And now Sean Livingston, who retires with the Minnesota Timberwolves. So does Chris Paul after this year. He plays 1 year in Montreal, retires, and he also just opted out of his contract, so he's probably gone with the Clippers. Paul Millsap retires, JaVale McGee, Drew Holiday. Not very many big names retiring after this year in the NBA. Chris Paul is inducted into the Hall of Fame after the season for the class of 2022. His number is the only one retired for the Montreal Nationals, the former Los Angeles Clippers. No more 3 in their franchise history. And as you can see here, the opposing teams now will enter the bonus after 1 team foul in the final 2 minutes of the quarter. That was approved by 25 of the 30 teams, so that is a new rule in the league. And as you can see here, the league realignment doesn't take anything because the Toronto Raptors have relocated to Pittsburgh and are now the Pittsburgh Condors, and they stay in the Atlantic Division, so no one else has to move. The 2023 draft lottery was held, 2022, sorry, I got ahead of myself there. Charlotte Hornets are in the number 1 pick, followed by the Louisville Heat and the Orlando Magic. You can see the rest as follows there. The draft was held, and Brad Chandler was the Charlotte Hornets' number 1 selection. Brian Ross was taken by the Louisville Heat. Charlie Norman goes to the Orlando Magic, followed by Dante Haywood going to Dallas. The Condors select Malik Walton. The Denver Nuggets will use their 6th pick on Arthur Arnold. The Cleveland Cavaliers select Jay Johnson with the 7th pick and Alberto Altait for the Detroit Pistons. And once again, Russell Westbrook, MVP. No shock at this point. Brian Ross wins Rookie of the Year from the Louisville Heat. The 6th man of the year is Kevin Knox from the San Antonio Spurs. Josh Jackson wins Defensive Player of the Year for the Louisville Heat. The most improved player is Wendell Carter Jr. of the Indiana Pacers. And Coach of the Year goes to Nate McMillan with the Detroit Pistons. And now let's look at our playoffs here. As the New Orleans Pelicans are the 1 seed, take on the 8-seeded Milwaukee Bucks. The 4-seeded Houston Rockets will take on their division rivals, the Dallas Mavericks, who are in the 5 seed. The Oklahoma City Thunder will are in the 3 seed and will take on the 6-seeded Phoenix Suns. The 2-seeded San Antonio Spurs take on the 7-seeded San Diego Admirals in the matchup of the Sands. The Detroit Pistons are in the 1 seed in the East and take on the 8-seeded Orlando Magic. The newly relocated Pittsburgh team earns the 4 seed and takes on the 5-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers. The 3-seeded Atlanta Lakers takes on the 6-seeded Charlotte Hornets, and the 2-seeded Chicago Bulls takes on the 7-seeded New York Knicks. Now let's see who moves on to the next round of the 2023 playoffs. That'll be the New Orleans Pelicans, who defeated the Bucks. The Rockets defeated the Mavericks in 7 games. It took 7 games for the Suns to upset the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the Spurs also defeat the San Diego Admirals. The Pistons sweep the Magic and will face off against the Pittsburgh Condors, who defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers in 7 games. The Atlanta Lakers defeated the Charlotte Hornets in 7 games, and the Chicago Bulls swept the New York Knicks to move on. Now let's see who makes it to the top 4 teams in the league, making it on to the conference finals. And that will be the Houston Rockets, who upset the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Phoenix Suns, who upset the San Antonio Spurs to move on. The Chicago Bulls defeat the Atlanta Lakers, and the Pittsburgh Condors upset the Detroit Pistons in 7 games in their first year to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now let's see who makes it to the 2023 NBA Finals to face off looking for a championship. and that will be the Phoenix Suns, who upset the Houston Rockets, and the Pittsburgh Condors in the first year in the league, who took the Chicago Bulls to 7 games to win. And your champion in a sweep is the first-year Pittsburgh Condors, just on back of Mohamed Bamba as MVP. That is crazy to see a first-year relocated team win it all. But unfortunately, that is it for this episode today. You'll have to wait until next Tuesday to see the next episode in the installment of this new series. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Thanks for watching. Bye.